This is KGW News at 11.
And we are going to begin tonight at 11 with the presidential race and the wait for a winner. Now, when we updated you around the same time last night, former Vice President Joe Biden had 253 electoral votes. President Trump had 214, and those numbers have not changed yet, now 24 hours later.
We also told you the race was coming down to a handful of still yet to be decided states, and that hasn't changed either. But the vote counts in those states have narrowed considerably. President Trump has cut into Joe Biden's lead in Arizona. The difference there is about 45,000 votes. Meanwhile, Joe Biden has gained ground in Georgia and Pennsylvania. In Georgia, President Trump's lead is just 1,700 votes. In Pennsylvania, the president leads by about 19,000 votes. That's the biggest prize left, with 20 electoral votes up for grabs.
As for the candidates, Joe Biden is preaching patience and faith in the system, while President Trump has claimed without any evidence whatsoever that the election is being rigged.
I ask everyone to stay calm, all the people to stay calm. The process is working. The count is being completed.
If you count the legal votes, I easily win. If you count the illegal votes, they can try to steal the election from us.
Now, look, the Trump campaign has filed several legal challenges, including in Georgia and Michigan, where judges quickly dismissed them due to no evidence of lawbreaking. We're going to have a fact check on the president's claims coming up a little later in the newscast. We can't say we saw another protest in Portland tonight, but much smaller than what we saw last night and with a lot less damage. Many were focused tonight on a decision by Portland City Council instead of the presidential election.
Mike Benner is live downtown with the details for us. Mike.
Good evening. Aside from some vandalism to the boarded up front doors of City Hall, it was a pretty quiet evening in downtown Portland. A much different story, though, in North Portland. Let's go ahead and look at some video from earlier tonight. A small group of demonstrators met at Arbor Lodge Park and marched to City Commissioner Dan Ryan's home. We're told flares were tossed at the home, at least one window broken as well, before it was declared an unlawful assembly. The crowd moved on to the Portland Police Association building on Lombard before dispersing. All of this in response to what happened at City Hall earlier in the day. Portland's City Council voted against cutting another $18 million from the Portland Police Bureau. City Commissioner and vocal police critic Joanne Hardesty proposed the cut, arguing the money would be better spent on emergency food programs and housing. This comes after council already slashed $15 million in police funding back in June. However, the City Council rejected the new cuts by a 3-2 vote. The 3 no votes, including Mayor Wheeler, argued slashing that much money would force layoffs and make Portlanders less safe.
As we heard from both the police chief and the budget office, this $18 million proposal is a threat to our current public safety.
We need to identify the root of our problems and to identify and invest in upstream solutions.
I want you to know that your vote against this amendment means that the status quo continues on. Black people will continue to be overpoliced. Houseless people will continue to be arrested at over 50% of the arrests that Portland Police Bureau will continue to make.
All right, also worth noting, today the Portland Police Association filed a legal challenge against a measure voters approved this week, establishing a community police oversight board. The police union says such a board is accountable to no one and called it, quote, terrible public policy. Now, back out here live, one more thing to mention. As the demonstration was happening in North Portland, law enforcement was conducting high visibility patrols. We're told there were more than a dozen traffic stops, some of them connected to the demonstration, and there was at least one arrest. Back to you.
Thank you, Mike. And some local businesses and a downtown church are recovering tonight after yesterday's riot in Portland. Workers spent today cleaning up glass and replacing windows and storefronts that were shattered. One of the targets was St. Andre Bessette Catholic Church at West 6th and Burnside, where every window on the outer doors was broken. They run a homeless outreach program that they now have to pause.
Until I can get the building secured, everything's coming to a stop. So there's hundreds of people that we would normally give out food to that we're not going to be able to because of this.
Police want to hear from anyone who knows who attacked the church or any of the other buildings downtown. Elected leaders are condemning the destruction, including Governor Kay Brown and Multnomah County District Attorney Mike Schmidt.
In the pandemic, Oregon reported 805 new cases today, shattering its previous daily record of 600. That previous high was last Friday. Today, Multnomah County alone reported 196 cases. The chart you see here on your screen, that's Oregon's daily case numbers, which have been consistently rising lately. The percentage of tests coming back positive is increasing too. It's up to 8.5%. The state also reported 5 new deaths today. The graph shows the number of COVID deaths each week, and you can see the rate has spiked recently, though it is not trending upward sharply like the cases. Devin Haskins is digging into all these numbers for us tonight and looking at what's fueling them.
Oregon's COVID-19 cases have been hitting record marks over the last 2 weeks. In fact, the 5 highest one-day totals have come within just the last 7 days. Oregon shattered the previous single-day count of 600 by 34%. The group with the largest amount of infections, 20 to 49-year-olds.
What we have now to fight COVID-19, it's primarily prevention. We don't have a vaccine.
Dr. Carlos Crespo is a professor at the OHSU PSU School of Public Health. He's worked at both the CDC and the National Institute of Health. This is the new wave of cases experts warned about.
So here's the thing. This wave, we were expecting it. I think it's a little earlier than we expected it.
He says people have let their guard down. Now that the rain and colder weather has come, people are inside more too.
All these little things, they add up. It's not where we used to be in the summer, where we were, outdoors, we were staying away from each other, and now things are progressively getting more closer.
710 people have died in Oregon from COVID-19. 37 died during the week ending this past Sunday. That's up from 27 the week before.
I mean, you could say, oh no, it's just like the cold. But ultimately, the issue is people are dying. And if somebody's dying unnecessarily, it's an unnecessary death.
Neither Governor Brown nor the Oregon Health Authority were available for comment on Thursday night regarding the rising case numbers. They did say, however, that they would address them during a press conference at some point on Friday. I'm Devin Haskins, KGW News.
New tonight, a Troutdale man accused of providing propaganda for ISIS is facing federal charges. Investigators say he'd been working for the terrorist group since 2015. Catherine Cook has a closer look at the allegations he's facing.
The allegations outlined in this federal indictment connect a Troutdale man with ISIS. 31-year-old Hawazin Samir Mothafar is accused of sharing propaganda with the terrorist organization over the past 5 years. Some of that material allegedly includes an article explaining how to kill and maim a target using effective stabbing techniques and a tutorial on detonating explosives. Portland FBI agents traced the material back to Mothafar, who had become a U.S. citizen. Investigators say Mothafar made false statements on immigration documents and denied ties to terrorist organizations. In a statement, U.S. Attorney Billy Williams said in part, "This defendant is a legal permanent resident of the United States who abandoned the country that took him in and instead pledged allegiance to ISIS and repeatedly and diligently promoted its violent objectives." Court documents also suggest Mothafar would open social media and email accounts for ISIS officials to use and was a leading figure in the Islamic State's media network. In a statement, FBI Special Agent in Charge Ren Cannon said in part, "When it comes to cases like this one, a computer and a keyboard can be powerful weapons against enemies of the Islamic State." Court documents also show prosecutors will use evidence collected through the Foreign Intelligence Surveillance Act, or FISA court. George Washington University has tracked the Islamic State in America since 2014. Up through last month, 217 people in the U.S. had been charged with crimes connected to ISIS. This case marks 218.
Mothafar made his first appearance in court Thursday. Because he's disabled and confined to a wheelchair, he was released under several conditions, including limitations to travel and use of electronic devices. Catherine Cook, KGW News.